How did you come out joining the Blues? How did it come about?
I was playing for Bournemouth at the time, and we had a midweek game up at York City. Glamour side it was. The manager was sort of forcing me to play, and then dislocated my shoulder, and I was knackered. And I didn't know something serious because Bournemouth bought me a shoulder brace. You know, Tony Pulis, he's at Stoke now, he was my manager. He was just stood on my front doorstep, and he just said to me, Joe, Everton want to sign you, do you fancy going up there? I said, of course I do. He said, well, you've got an hour and a half to get to Heathrow and fly up to Merseyside. And I didn't even have a clue how to even get to London, so next door neighbour took us up. Got Anders Limpar there because we signed on the same day. Flew straight up there, the bell tower on the East Lancs. Yeah. Went in there, Anders was in there for about 4 hours, negotiating everything. I went in for about 15 minutes, signed straight away, and that was it. It was as simple as that.
Good signing?
Yeah!
Right then, Joe, I've had an absent show before. Who remembers the Wimbledon game in '94? Where were you?
I was actually playing at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United reserves, Everton reserves, and believe it or not, Sheffield United and Everton reserves had to win the game to stay in the reserve league because Mike Walker said I wasn't. It was too big an occasion for me to play for the club at that time. So I was out for going to the reserve game, and it was ironic because Sheffield United could go down in the Premier League, Everton could go down, and so could the two reserve teams. So we're playing on the pitch, and Kamara was playing, you know, the Sky Pundit. He was there, and I don't know if you remember Tony Grant. He was playing next to me with another young lad. Chris Kamara, yeah, Grant and I. Chris Kamara was kicking out these two young lads. I was only a few years younger, but I come through the lower league, so I knew how to handle myself. And the ball came across, and I just saw it was going in the box, and Kamara was going to chest it back to me, so I just run as fast as I could, which, as you know, was very, very fast. I just run up behind him, not even interested in the ball, just kneed him right in the arm. I got booked. Anyway, I went and stood in my position next to Grant and all, and he just come trotting over, and he went, Parkinson, I looked at him. He said, I've lost all respect for you, sorry for swearing. And I just said, you respect? I said, you just kicked shit out of two young lads. I said, you know, just went, it was a disgrace in the end, and he just turned around. Anyway, we won the league, we won the match, we stayed up. Straight away, both teams just run off into the tunnel. There's an old fella with a little radio in the tunnel listening to the game. And as we went off, it's been a nasty game. And both teams were right around this old fella. And at the time, as we come off, we were down. Sheffield United were up, they were playing Chelsea, I think it was, away. We had Wimbledon, obviously. So they started singing to us. We just wanted to go over and do them all in, but no, you couldn't do it. And it was frustrating because it's been a really nasty game. But the Alf fellas just trying to keep us all apart. And then next minute, within 5 minutes, which it was, Sheffield United, I think it was Steen scored for Chelsea, didn't it? I think they went down, we stayed up. Well, you should have seen the party we had. Jimmy Gabriel, remember old Jimmy Gabriel? Yep. He was their reserve team manager. He was up dancing, we were in the changing room singing. It was one of the best feelings I've ever had. And what a day to remember, and I wasn't even at the Wimbledon game. It was just fantastic.
You mentioned the mic, okay? Someone shouted it, he wasn't too he said that. How good was Mike, or how bad was Mike?
It's hard for me, we spoke before about it. Mike Walker signed me, so I'm ever grateful for what he did for me. But Mike Walker just didn't realise what Everton Football Club was. You know, he's a bit of a playboy, Mike. But the lads, we had a great team spirit at the time, and we'd go out and have a drink. The trouble was, Mike Walker was stood next to us having the same drinks with us. And as a manager, he shouldn't do that. You know, he always wanted to party and, you know, have a laugh with the lads, and he shouldn't have done that. He needed to stay out of the way and be a manager of, you know, what a great club. In the years, I don't know how long he was there in the end, but he only took us for one training session in all that time. We had an assistant, Dave Williams, and he was assistant for Wales at the time. International weekend, Dave Williams flies off with Wales. We've got Mike Walker taking us for training. He comes out with his shorts rolled up, suntan, walks out, straight into the penalty box, 20-odd lads. And it's the only training session, honestly God, I swear down, he did one training session and we had a game of rugby. It was absolutely up my street. I love rugby. And a funny story coming out, it was only in the penalty box, so it's only very, very small, 20 odd lads. They've had enough of Mike Walker by this stage, and he's just stood on the side. And Andy Hinchcliffe didn't like him anyway. And Mike Walker's watching the ball over here, and no word of a lie, Andy Hinchcliffe, who was a fast lad, just comes sprinting from the back. Mike wasn't even watching. He clotheslined Mike Walker straight away. Mike Walker goes over, he's got a little bit of blood on his nose. All the laughing. So, but that was the only time Mike Walker trained us. You know, if it was sunny, he'd come out and watch us. And he'd come out, and I swear, he'd just come out with a pair of shorts on. You know, and I don't know where we expected to get the respect from the players, which he, in the end he didn't. But for me, you know, it was great because he actually brought me to the club.
Big Joe came in, took over. Dogs of War became Everton's. You, Barry, and John Everall. Talk us through the Dogs of War and how it came about, and what it was like playing alongside those two.
Well, I absolutely loved it. As soon as Joe Royle came in, you know, he came from Oldham, you know, he'd been through the lower leagues. And straight away, you know, I was having a bad time, and he just come in to the training and said everyone's equal, and you hear that from managers. But to me, he just sort of put his arm around me and told me to do certain things, which, you know, he wanted the basic things out of our midfield, which I think the three players we were, me, John and Barry, he suited us. You know, no one wanted to play against us. We were strong players, and you know, and I think at the time when we were really struggling, that's the type of players we needed. But Joe Royle as a manager, you know, you can't speak highly. All the lads here, I don't think anyone will say one bad thing about Joe Royle. One of the greatest persons, the greatest Evertonians you'll ever meet. It was a shame he had to go away. You know, the best manager I've ever played under. You know, and you know, what more can you say about them?
Right. That's a couple of questions, Joe. I want to talk about your retirement, the injury, and the testimony, and the way the fans respect you. What do you feel about them?
Well, Jimmy said it before. Once you actually sign here, I was a Man United fan before I came here, because that's where I grew up. No longer, I'm a true blue. I love the place. The kids are, you know, Scousers. The lads are a proper bit of blue. You know, it's just, I don't know what it is about this club. It's just absolutely fantastic, and it just takes over your life. You know, and you as supporters, you know, I've gone a few away trips. We're just, you know, amazing. It's just, I don't know how you can describe it, but it is the best club in the world. Simple as that. You know, we've not to provide the way we're going at the moment. Such an hard team to beat, but you know, we're getting some great results at the moment. It's just so good to win the game.
Okay, the last question, we're going to do your auction item after this, and it says here a picture of you. Wants to look on Paul Ince's face. It says, the governor, on my. Talk us through the cup final '95. What was it like down at Wembley and celebrating Japanese?
Well, that's the only photograph I ever see. If anyone wants a photo, that's the only one they'll get out of me. I'm sure that's the only time everyone took it in. But the Wembley itself, the cup run we had was amazing. How we even got to the final, I don't know. Did anyone go to Bristol City away? Yes! We ended up at Wembley. The Tottenham game was amazing. You know, to spoil the party because everyone was at Tottenham Man U. We ended up going to Wembley. And growing up as a fan, as a football, that's all you want to do is play at Wembley. It was a little bit disappointing. It just goes so quick. You hear the players say, you know, it goes so quick. You've got to enjoy the game, and that's what happened with me. The game seemed to last about 15 minutes. But what I liked about the game, you know, it's a little bit soppy. I might get a tear in my eye. But when I walked out, you know, when the players just first go out in the suits and a little walk around, I looked up and I saw my mum and dad. You know, and that's what you know, what it meant to me. And then I saw my best mate. He had my shirt on. I saw my wife. My kids were too young at the time, so that's one regret I've got. But as a day itself, the game just went too quick. Thank God, because they didn't score. We were under a bit of pressure. And the night time, you know, believe it or not, I was in bed for 12 o'clock. Seriously, I'd had enough. We'd got the new chairman, Mr. Johnson, and apparently the games before, I don't know whether Derek can vouch for this, but the wives and players used to go somewhere different and have a proper party. Well, this time it was a big, I don't even know what hotel we stayed at. It was absolutely huge.
Royle Lancaster.
Was it? The table, I ended up at the table with strangers. Strangers on each table. You sort of mixed around. Johnson's great idea.
Bobby
On
Dabble
the
was
table
on.
with him Samways as well. Nightmare. Absolutely nightmare. So we had Bobby Davro. Was anybody in there? We had Bobby Davro trying to entertain us when all we wanted to do was celebrate the cup final. We had the chairman's speeches, and we had the brass band from the pitch actually walk through and play across the dance floor. So we come round, it come 12 o'clock, I was absolutely knackered. And I just said to my missus, I'm going to bed. She stayed down for a little bit. Everyone else said, I missed it all. Don't get me. Killed the lot. I missed everything about it. It was a bit. The best celebration we ever had was the semi-final. It was all back to Liverpool with the wives. It was the biggest bender ever. It was absolutely fun.
We all had one of them.